Should I learn British English?
Or American English?
Today we're going to be talking about 5 things that you can take into consideration when deciding which accent to focus on.
The first piece of advice that can help you is to remember that in English there are many different kinds of accents, not just British or American. That would be an oversimplification of the question. There are many different variations. There's Canadian English, there's Australian English, and so on. There isn't really a right or wrong answer because even within one type of English, there's so many different regional accents.
Yeah, for example, in London, I can tell when someone starts speaking, whether they're from South London, East London, North London. You can instantly tell just from 2 words.
Or in America, you can tell if a person's from California, from New York, from the Midwest. That being said, there are standardized versions of both of these accents.
The second piece of advice is to figure out what exactly you're focusing on improving at the moment. Are you wanting to improve your listening and your understanding? Or are you wanting to simply improve your spoken English? Are you wanting to focus on input or output? Of course, both of these are equally important, but it's good to figure out which one you're focusing on right now at this moment. If you're wanting to simply improve your spoken English, I would say just go with one. Pick one and stick with that.
Yeah, that's really important. We have students sometimes who mix accents, and that's the worst thing that you can do. If you say certain things in British English, certain things in American English, or even worse, if you pronounce part of a word in British English pronunciation and part of it in American, it can be a little bit awkward, strange, difficult to follow.
It sounds like you don't really know the right way to pronounce the word in either accent. Both of them are correct, but you just want to make sure that you know which one you're trying to be. If you want to improve your listening, and exposure to all different kinds of accents is actually really important.
Yeah, just like we said in point 1, you will inevitably come across different kinds of accents. So some students even choose to have different tutors to change it up a little so they can understand people from different parts of the world that speak English. Tip number 3 that will affect your decision is to figure out if you have a specific goal in mind. Meaning, if you are going to study or work or live in a specific country and that's the reason why you're learning English, then obviously you might want to learn the English that is spoken mainly in that area. If you're going to be living in America, then it makes sense to study American English.
The 4th point is that clarity and enunciation matter. So in your mother tongue, do you speak clearly? Because if you want to enunciate well in English, you have to make sure that you're enunciating well in your mother tongue, because this will help you to then project that skill into another language. I sometimes have students that come to me and they're struggling to speak clearly. It could be a problem with the fact that they may not be enunciating so well in their mother tongue, and so we actually have a variety of techniques to try and open up those mouth muscles.
Yeah, you can't blame the accent for not being understood when really it's because you're not speaking clearly or enunciating properly.
But it is possible, it is learnable, and it's something that our mouth muscles, they can always be trained.
Point number 5 is that really, in the end, it's all the same language. British English, American English, or any of the other Englishes, it's still English in the end. But if you learn one English, for example, and then you go to another place where they speak a different kind of English, you'll still be understood. People will still find it easy and possible to communicate with you.
It's all about finding your own voice in English. If you haven't been raised in that country, it's very difficult, unless you're a very good actor, to be able to completely pick up one type of accent. It's okay. Stick with one, start, and you'll be fine.
So to summarize, if you're studying English because you want to now focus on your listening, your input, it's good to have exposure to different kinds of accents.
And if your focus is on improving your speaking, your output, then it's good to just stick to one accent and go from there.
So these were our tips related to the question of British English or American English. We hope they help. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We hope to see you at English4.